Hello, I'm Thomas, and this is the KAANP, the Knoxville Area Artists Networking Platform. And here we talk to artists about themselves, the art they make, and where they make it, kinda. So yeah, stick around, give us a listen. Enjoy the show. Hey Summer, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, I'm Summer Fuss. I'm an artist, preschool teacher currently. Yeah, lived in Knoxville for 7 years now. Graduate of UT psychology department.
Will you move your mic a little closer to your face?
Yeah.
Because when you turned, it went out of the scope of the mic.
Yeah.
We'll get it sorted out.
Okay, cool.
So, full-time creative is not your day job right now, right?
No, I wish it was, but a lot of the aspects of my job are very creative, so I don't know. I would guess I would call myself a creative 24 hours of the day,
Right.
regardless of work.
So, being a creative problem solver really helps when you're in the professional environment.
Yeah, it does. It does. Especially working with kids, especially with the age group that I work with. I work with 1-year-olds, toddlers.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
You,
12
you have
months to
the
24.
moldable ones.
Yeah, and they're eager to like hear everything. They're more creative than I am too, so that makes it really fun for me. It's inspiring.
Oh, so you really get to watch the back and forth. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
I
great.
get to see everything develop. Yeah.
So, what mediums or creative avenues do you do for yourself?
Currently, I've been exploring a lot of like collage. That's been my main interest lately. I like to thrift. I've always had that as a hobby of mine. So, I've been really inspired by like vintage magazines and children's books.
What have you pulled from children's books?
I like just the images, the cute like illustrations from like the 1930s, 1940s, like children's.
Oh, very classic children.
Yeah, very classic drawings. They're always super cute. A lot of really traditional like horses and butterflies and like really cutesy stuff, like little ducklings and yeah. I'm working on a project right now, like collaging a lamp, but I did some collage in high school, but I forget like how much of a process it is because compared to like I usually what I had been doing before this was like oil pastels, and that's a lot more of a quick process.
Yeah.
And my process was very quick, intentionally, like not planned out or anything, very like freeform kind of. Yeah, but it's been fun to explore an avenue that's like more takes more time, and yeah,
So
kind of like a puzzle.
why is your collage work more time intensive? Like what part of your workflow makes that time intensive?
I think the part that I enjoy the most about it is probably the sourcing for the images. So I will sit like with my books after I've like gone thrifting for them, or like just gone through like my parents' attic or like wherever I've like scavenged for materials.
Yeah, wherever it is you feel like looking at the time.
Yeah, and then I'll sit down with them for like 2 hours and just be like ripping shit out, and like, trying to figure out. Then I figure out later what I'm gonna do with it.
You can cuss, so if you want to
Okay,
cuss, that's
cool.
fine.
I wasn't sure.
I forgot to say that earlier. Yeah, the show's marked explicit. You can say whatever you want.
Okay,
So
cool.
speak freely, however you choose.
Cool. Yeah.
So I saw the piece I think you posted today had plastic bags in it.
Oh, that was from 2018. Thank you. That was like when I was still in college at UT. Yeah, I started at UT as a graphic design major, which I didn't really enjoy. I didn't enjoy the program or just like
Was it
When I was
the formality of it wasn't your
the
gig?
formality, and like I did an internship and it was just a lot of desk work, and it just wasn't stimulating for me. I felt like I really wasn't using any of my you know.
I feel like a lot of people, the structure really kills it, or the format or the formality of things really take it out of people somehow.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and so I only did that for a year and a half before I decided to switch my major to psychology because I was really interested in like development and like the human psyche and like all the nitty gritty parts in there that I just hadn't explored. I didn't have those resources when I was growing up.
Yeah.
And like I was like, maybe I'll just, use college as like, I'm going to just take advantage of this opportunity and learn a whole new thing. Because I knew I had been an artist for a long time and I wanted to be inspired by something else.
Oh, something totally different.
Yeah, yeah, something totally different, but also very similar because psychology and art is like...
They go pretty well hand in hand, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did that formal educational experience treat you?
Great. Yeah, it was awesome. I loved all my professors. And because I did do graphic design, I already had those base classes in the art program. So I was able to still take classes in the art school while I was a psych major, even though I wasn't minoring in anything. So I kind of did like a side-by-side thing. And
so you had some fun electives to keep you sane?
Yeah. I took drawing classes, and I really enjoyed it. I put a lot of my focus there, and then psychology was also just like an inspiration for.
So do you pull any of that into your work now with your collaging?
I do, but it's like not. Like,
it's not direct.
Really pronounced, yeah.
It's there.
Okay. Yeah, but it's there, and it inspires me. Mm-hmm.
So, what other parts of your workflow do you enjoy for your creative outputs right now?
Well, I've been playing a lot of music lately, which is a big inspiration for me.
What instrument?
I play clarinet.
Okay.
I played clarinet since high school. I did marching and concert. Music has always been like another outlet of mine as well. I did like choir growing up and chorus, and then I was in marching band. I did color guard.
Oh, so you did all of it.
I did theater. Yeah, I was kind of all over the place, just like constantly needing something.
Did you ever feel spread thin with all that?
Yeah, but it was fun. It was fun. I wish I had kind of done more too in some ways. Just like, I don't know. Marching band took up like all of college or all of high school.
I believe it.
Yeah, like all of my time. So I kind of wish I had taken time to do more extracurricular stuff.
But marching band's awesome.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. Yeah, and I was not a good clarinet player, and I'm still not a good clarinet player. But I love playing, like, just, like, exploring the instrument without the bass.
Without
like, I kind of
without
have, like,
the cage most people put in.
Yeah, but I'm not, like, this is a C scale,
Right.
I don't really care. I'm just playing, and, like, the people I play with are also, like, the same. It's
like to experiment. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So is it just the clarinet, or do you have other instruments in your resume of musical outputs?
Well, my partner plays a lot of different things, and he's kind of got like a wall of instruments to select from. So, like, I was playing his bass last night, and I play his trumpet sometimes. He's got an alto sax I play on sometimes.
Sounds like that's a fun wall to pick things from.
It's so fun, yeah. He's got a saw. He plays singing saws.
Oh, nice.
Which is really fun. Yeah, you can make some crazy sounds. It's mostly just making noises. It's a lot of noise. But there's music that comes out of it.
You got to have the noise in there somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
So are there any instruments on the horizon, seriously, that you want to really look into and dictate some time for?
Not really. Like, I don't have the energy or the time to, like, really... Or the motivation to put all of my time and energy, I guess, into one instrument. I'd rather just pick it up and play with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And just see what happens
and
after.
See what happens.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good way to be.
And that's kind of how I treat my art as well. I would say, kind of just pick things up and play with them, and don't really have a lot of planning.
Like end goal or any like specific path this needs to be.
It just kind of comes out the way it comes out, and sometimes I hate it and I don't show it to anybody and I throw it away. But sometimes, something good comes out of it, and it brings me a lot of joy too.
Right. When the unexpected happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how is being a creative person in Knoxville treating you right now?
Really good. Really good. I feel like I've fallen into a good group of people, a lot of creatives in my life right now.
Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of really close friends that are doing really inspiring things. I feel like maybe like COVID had a push for a lot of people too.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like, take advantage of their outlets and like really make something out of them, and devote more time to what you're doing. And a lot of my friends are musicians or like creating in some kind of capacity. Cooks. A lot of my friends like to cook. I like to bake as well too. So.
I feel like a lot of people took up baking when they were confined at home for a while. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
COVID was definitely a catalyst, and the whole stay-at-home order we had here in Knoxville and everything was definitely a catalyst. I became very productive because I had so much time.
What were you getting done?
Oh man, well, I decided to pull the trigger on the podcast for one, and then. I couldn't really do a whole lot of interviewing, but I did acquire the equipment.
Yeah,
and then,
that's a step, huge step.
And then I purchased some paint from an artist overseas that I really look up to. He came out with his own brand of paint. I bought some of that. And then I just sort of explored some styles of things that were like big influences in my life. And I sort of mashed them all up. And now I have a really neat style that I'm playing with and exploring right now.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's been pretty rewarding. So I can't say it wasn't a fruitful way to spend at least some degree of my time.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people around here. Because I had a lot of video chats and a lot of back and forth with other creative people who were in similar situations, and there was that bore a lot of fruit. It was good.
Yeah.
I can't say my social circle is very musical, but a lot of visual artists I know did some really crazy things, and I always love pushing the boundaries and seeing the crazy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in this genre, like, just visual arts. It's always somewhere crazy it could go.
Somebody's doing something exciting.
So, what's the craziest stuff you've put in a collage so far?
The craziest?
Yeah, the craziest thing.
I didn't tell my roommate about this. But he buys like spring water jugs, and I was like tearing the labels off. But I don't know why I was doing it. It was something about the colors. Yeah, but I haven't used them yet, though. I haven't used them yet, but I will.
Oh, so this is the classic art supplies. I need this.
Yeah. But it's just like a label. He was probably so confused when he came home and
they were gone.
Off. Yeah.
Do you ever just pick anything up off the street when you're walking around?
Yeah, I do. I do sometimes. Not a lot. I take things from the playground at work sometimes. My kid will one of my kids will come and bring me something, and I'm like, oh, you're not supposed to have that. And I just put it in my pocket, and
it's like, this will go in art sometime.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like some sticker that's been in the mulch for 4 weeks or something.
And who knows where it came from.
Oh yeah, probably was.
Don't eat that. Please give it here.
Yeah, it's fun though.
That's great.
Yeah.
So who do you have any inspirations, just in general in artistic contexts, that you really look up to, or you find the distillation of their influences in your work somehow?
I think one of the artists that I was really inspired with in late high school, early college, with figure drawings, like Egon Schiele. If you know his.
I don't, but I'm gonna look that up when I get home.
Yeah, it's very raw, abstract figures, but yeah, I don't really know how to explain it. I guess the colors he uses, and it's very it's very beautiful the way he draws. It's his strokes are very nice, and I don't know what it is about his work, but it's it's always really captivated me. And then there's an artist, Carolee Sheeman. I can't remember her name. I can't remember her name, but she does like kinetic painting. I guess it's a lot of movement.
Yeah. Does she do it like with her body physically on big stuff?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I think I've seen stuff like that.
Yeah. Carolee Schneeman or something like that. Yeah.
We can have a conversation about that later. We'll get it figured out.
Yeah.
But what about her work really sets you off?
It's very performative and a lot of movement and motion in her work that you can see, which I like to bring a lot of movement, and I'm inspired by light and like wind a lot of the time, and I think it's beautiful how you can do that very quickly, and a lot of her work is created like very quickly, rapidly, and that's how you get that visual effect.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah.
Like the momentum of it is evident because it was done in that manner. Did she ever do it like as a performance art, like in front of people?
It was like performance art.
Okay.
And she did it most of the time. She's not alive anymore. I don't remember when she was alive. It's been a long time. But yeah. I don't really have a lot of like current artists that are making things that I'm inspired by, I guess, that I like take direct inspiration from.
But in general, the social circle is kind of pushing you and pushing themselves into creative things as well.
Yeah. My social circle, my work life. I take inspiration from like every sector of my life more than like looking at other artists, I guess.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes from everywhere. You just have to look for it.
Yeah.
Like in that way, when you recognize it comes to you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
My
and
social.
when you're looking for it too,
You'll find it.
You'll find it.
Definitely, you'll find it.
Yeah.
So, are there any projects or themes or anything like you're really trying to encapsulate or work on? Do you have a body of work you're trying to build right now, or are you just going piece to piece and seeing what happens?
I'm kind of going piece to piece right now and see what happens, see what inspires me. I really want to do larger work. I don't have the space for it. I mean, my apartment's pretty small right now. Yeah, but I'm about to move into a bigger space that will give me more leeway there, where I can buy some bigger panels or
Excellent.
make some bigger stuff. Which,
What scale are we talking?
Just large. I don't really know.
Like 2x3, 6x4,
Like 6x4.
All right.
Yeah,
bigger stuff.
Yeah, bigger
Great.
stuff. Yeah, I would love to do stuff on a larger scale. It's kind of intimidating, but I've never done it before, so I think it'd be really fun.
You might as well try, right?
Yeah. I've always worked, like, the past couple years, I've only been making, like, 10x10s. So it's always
So the idea of something like a sheet of plywood is a lot.
It's exciting. More space to fill. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So would that be a lot of little things or a few big things? You could slap
things.
you could slap a lot of those spring water labels on a big piece.
That'd be fun. That's a good idea. That'd be interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I would love to collage. That would take a long time, but I would love to collage a huge board.
Well, that would definitely give you time to explore the workflow.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah. I would love to do.
Well, one of the reasons I ask workflow questions like that and how people's creative process, is individual to them.
When you say workflow, can you...
Like how you do the thing that you do,
Okay.
and your creative process is just how you think through it.
Yeah, okay.
So I like to find where those two things sort of cross over, and at what point in there people find their peace or their zen, or at what point they just succumb to the flow of it and just are constantly just in the moment and creating. And some people, that's an easier question to ask than others.
Yeah.
Because some people find it and some people don't. I'm able to find it. A lot of people I know are able to find it. Most of the people I've had on the show are able to find it. So it's something I like to ask because it's different for everybody as a creative person. On top of the wildly different things everybody's capable of making. So it's really just one of those unique experiences to everyone that I like to inquire about.
So what's my workflow like?
Yeah, and where in that do you find peace of mind or zen or that kind of thing?
I like a lot of alone time. I need a lot of space. I need to feel very comfortable in my space. To good lighting and
Which we have right now.
yeah, this apartment is gorgeous. Has great lighting.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, music. I like to listen to. I listen to a lot of jazz, to a lot of Coltrane, and you know, I kind of bounce around with what I'm listening to, but that plays a big impact on what I'm making, I think. But once I get into my flow state, then I kind of tune out everything else.
And it's just
It's kind of narrowed focus,
Yeah.
usually standing up or bending over on the ground or something, wherever I'm collaging, moving around, or if I'm sitting. I usually I can't sit.
you don't do.
I can't sit.
So you don't have a dedicated space for the thing.
No.
So you're just all over the apartment doing whatever all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Like, I have a desk in there, but I'll spread all of my collage material out on my bed and, like, look over it. I'll have stuff on the floor. I've spilt glue all over my floor recently. It's kind of a mess, but I like that.
So you find
like
you
the
find
mess.
peace in the chaos of it. Great.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I like when that happens.
Yeah.
Because my desk at home is a big old mess, at least right now.
I love going into people's studios that are really, like, clean and everything has its place. That's not really me. It's kind of always been a mess. But
I think my office at home is an 8x10 room, and it's my desk and my 3D printers and way too many shelves.
yeah.
There's just shit everywhere.
Yeah.
So
That's fun.
I know the feeling. I really do.
It's kind of fun though, because then I forget that I have something, and then I open a drawer and I'm looking for something else, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, there it is.
use
What
that.
is this?
Yeah.
Like I have a shelving unit, and it's all like I've got some books over here for reference material, watercolor, acrylics, some philosophy stuff, and then it's just like paint, graph paper, and then I'll move something and find something.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen this in 6 months. I better
Or, like,
use it
I
today.
didn't want to find that, maybe.
Yeah, there's that too. God, how sleepy was I when I drew this? Like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that definitely happens. But I find order in the chaos as well. It helps. But you know, the days where you can kick back and clean the studio or prune the creative space in some way is therapeutic too. So,
It's therapeutic, but then it also feels like, you know, I don't know where to restart.
yeah.
You know, where do I
Where's
pick
all the
back
stuff?
up?
Where did I put
where's
it?
all my mess? How do I
Where
get
did it
back
go?
into that mess? I want to be in that mess.
It's like I need this one color, and it was a tiny jar, and now I don't know where it is. And you just like rub your face until you remember because you're ashamed that you cleaned too well.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a metaphorical mess when you clean all too well.
Yeah.
So how is Knoxville treating you well as a creative person, other than your really awesomely creative social circle? Are there events around town you like going to? Are there public spaces you enjoy being? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say Knoxdraw has been a great outlet for, like, meeting artists and, like, having a space where I can really focus on.
It's a good group environment.
Yeah, it's a great group environment, and everybody's very, very nice to each other, and everybody is always wanting to see each other's work, and I get excited to see everybody's work at the end of class. Everybody takes a different perspective on the figure and is focusing on a different aspect of the figure, and I think it's really fun to see other artists grow, because I've been going to Knoxdraw, I guess, for like.
Oh, what they've been doing it for almost 3 years now.
Yeah, I guess it's been like 3 years.
Which, full disclosure, is where Mariah and I met you, I think.
Yes, that's
And
right.
I'm slowly trying to work my way through that social circle with the
Yeah.
podcast because it is so dense.
It's a great group of artists.
Yeah, it's a very densely packed group with talent, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
I met a lot of great people.
I've had Jared on the podcast, and Lola has said she's on board, but we haven't made it happen yet. But we'll
Yeah,
get there.
I'm sure she will.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. But yeah, I'm super thankful for that as an outlet. It helps me do something that is far outside my comfort zone because I do a lot of abstract, psychedelic, like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And when I sit down to draw a human figure, I'm just like, what am I doing? That's a great thing for me to push my comfort zone with.
I take a lot of inspiration from that class too, and I don't know how it translates in my like abstract work, but I do. I love like focusing on the shadows and the light and playing with that a lot in my other work as well. But I think it's fun to use that class as a training ground kind of for my eyes.
You can also play a lot with composition with that, even though it's, you have one person in front of you and some lighting to play with. How you pick out the elements and how you emphasize them is a lot of the things I try to play with when I'm there drawing, because I'll try to focus on highlights or shadows and how that interacts with the lines of the model and all that stuff. So it's definitely helped me do things with my color palette that I wouldn't have exposed myself to otherwise.
See, I haven't experimented with a lot of color in that class at all.
Well, I mean, in other pieces of art.
Okay.
I've used some like red charcoal and stuff, and I have one red charcoal piece that I really like. And Jared threw that pen at me. He's like, "Use this," and just like threw it down on my table, and I was like, "Fine." But the piece turned out great. But yeah, it's been mostly charcoal pen and like micro pens and stuff like that for life drawing. But
I've been using a crayon lately. You should try that sometime.
a crayon, I'm here for it.
It's so fun. I've felt like I can get the shadows down so quickly and easily. It works similar to like charcoal, I guess, but you can't really blend it.
No, you can't.
You just kind of block in
Well,
the
since
shadows.
it's so waxy,
Yeah.
What kind of paper are you drawing on?
Just regular old drawing paper.
Newsprint or just like...
Not newsprint.
Okay.
It's a little thicker.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've been trying to use large pieces of newsprint when I've been in there lately. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
I was told to use larger paper, and I figured I'd give it a try, and I haven't moved off of it yet.
Oh, yeah. I've been stuck on large paper for a while now. Especially with figures, it's easier, I think, to get the proportions, I think.
There's something about moving, at that scale,
Yeah, you can move your whole arm from your shoulder instead of, like, at your wrist.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's got to be it.
Yeah.
It's more comfortable, more natural. There's more.
The lines are more fluid. Yeah.
It definitely it's more enjoyable to draw on that scale. Like I think my newsprint book is 18 by 24, something like that.
Yeah, that's about mine, too.
So are there any local elements, like where do you normally find the things that you like to collage with? Do you have like the honeypot of things, or do you just like randomly gather from everywhere? Or
yeah, it's kind of randomly everywhere. Like I think probably like locally, I really like Nostalgia. I found a lot of stuff there recently.
Yeah.
It was really great. And then just like, any thrift store, I think you can find something. But I was driving home. I'm from Middle Tennessee, is where my parents are from. But I was driving through like Oak Ridge, and like Estill Springs area, and there was like some little thrift store off the side of some like a back road called like the Tooth Fairy or something. I don't remember what it was called, but I found some really great stuff there, like old like sewing patterns and stuff, just like random little things that I can use. Yeah, I don't have any specific places that I like go to seek out material. It's kind of scattered.
Well, that works. So, but the hole in the wall places, you have to go check.
Oh,
the hole
I have to go check out the hole in the wall. Yeah, yeah. I'm curious.
So have you been to like everything up Central between here and where?
There's one place on Central that I haven't been. It's like on the corner. I can't think of what it's called. In Friends or something.
Yeah, there's it's the Ladies of Charity, and then there's the Friends Antique Store. It's across from Central Flats and Taft.
Have you been there before?
I've been there a lot.
They have good stuff, or I've heard it's kind of like...
It's hit or miss.
Okay.
But if do not forget that they have a basement full of stuff.
Okay.
And an upstairs full of furniture. Like the ground floor on the street level is all like normal stuff. You know, records and old dolls and toys and all this kind of stuff. You know, kitchen accessories.
Yeah.
Teapots and silverware and whatnot. Clothes, lots of clothes. They have a lot of clothes, so you might like that. But downstairs they have a lot of like old glassware and like golf clubs and board games. And
all the fun stuff.
all kinds of stuff. I think last time I was there, I bought a Stein from like Playboy 1974.
Oh, hell
You know,
yeah.
it was all black and gold logo and stuff. I think it's too classy. I got to get this. But
And it's not overpriced. It's like...
no, it was like $7. I was like, okay, $7. Twist my arm. But yeah, they have like mirrors and chairs and tables and all kinds of stuff upstairs.
Okay,
On the second
cool.
level. So check that out
Yeah,
too.
I'll have to check
yeah,
that
next
out.
time you're in there, check that place out. The building has been for sale for a while, and I think they're just kind of letting them run business until they actually sell the building.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm
They
sure they're in a
probably
mood
so
to
much
get
shit.
everything out of there.
It's going to be a mess.
But you and I have been in there before, and it worked out pretty well. I found some good records in there too.
Cool.
But they also have a lot of not good records, as in like not good shape.
Oh, okay.
So if you need records for whatever, like don't feel bad to break one of those up and
Okay.
throw it on a canvas, because there's a lot in there that are just in poorly playable condition. And then I think have you been to Retrospect?
I have, yeah. I find great stuff there, but it is overpriced.
They're a little pricey,
A little pricey.
but I think they curate their collection a lot more than some people do.
There's also a place, I used to live out in South Knoxville, and Bargain Hunters. Have y'all ever been there before?
Yep.
Love that place. I've probably been there like 40 times or more. And yeah, I've gathered a lot of great things.
Anything stand out to you that you've picked from there?
Not in particular, not off the top of my head, but I've gotten a lot of things from there. I like knick-knacky things too, so yeah, nothing that I can think of right now. but yeah, I'll spend like 3 hours in there though. They have all those little just like rows and rows of like old like pottery and like wooden sculptures and things like that. That's really fun. My mom likes to collect stuff like that, so I found a lot of things for her there and for friends. I buy a lot. I kind of use it as an excuse to buy things, is to re-gift them.
Hey, that works too.
Yeah.
It's like I was looking for stuff to put in a collage, but I swear you need this more than I do.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And it's always a good reaction you get when you like gift people these wacky things too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's I mean, you do never know what you're gonna find in there.
Yeah. Yeah. I find like little things with like catchy sayings on them and stuff, like little trays and stuff like that. But
I think salt and pepper shakers get me.
salt and pepper shakers, I can't even start because I would buy so many. Yeah.
I think the last one I saw that I really, really wanted and convinced myself not to get was at Nostalgia, and they were little penguins.
No.
Yeah.
I do. I think I maybe got those. I have these donkey salt and pepper shakers over there. I think I got those from Nostalgia.
Oh, those are terribly cute.
Aren't they?
Is one of them missing an ear?
I know. He's
can't
just
tell
got
from
his
here.
ear down, or like they're like back and like.
Oh, that's great. Very, very emotive salt and
Yeah,
pepper
yeah,
donkey
they're cute.
shakers here.
Salt and pepper donkeys.
It's great. I love it. Yeah, I need to not buy as many salt and pepper shakers as I see in these places.
Yeah.
I would have to paint them. Somebody gifted me a hat recently, and I really need to paint that, or else I would just wear it around.
Oh.
Like I need to paint it and hang
Is
it up
an
on a
ugly
wall.
hat or
It's not an ugly hat. It's not. Well, some people might think it's ugly. I just don't care.
What kind of hat is it?
It's a flat brim hat. It's like a leather hat
Okay.
or felt, and it's flat brim. It's big, wide. It's got 4 indentions on the top, so it's like an old dress hat from like the 70s, maybe 60s, something like that. But was just like, man, if I don't do something with this and try to sell it, I'm going to enjoy keeping it. So I really need to like paint it and get it out of here. So it's just sitting on the dresser right now waiting for me to do something.
Thinking of an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, concept.
Do you have a lot of materials sitting around waiting to be used? Do you have just like a big bag of them in the corner?
That's kind of actually how I started collaging again. Because I had some canvases, and I had like a bunch of old magazines, and I was just bored one day and started doing that again. So, yeah, occasionally I'll just decide to start doing something new. Like I have like leather paints and stuff, so I'll just like paint some shoes one day, or I have like old jewelry that I'll take apart and do something with, and I have like bags of buttons, and I'll glue them to things. Yeah, bunch of old clothes that I don't wear, I'll snip them up. I don't know, I have tons of things, like little things packed away that I find sometimes and can use for random things. I don't know. Yeah.
So you have a well of resources.
Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah. I feel like I always have.
But I mean, it's good to have materials on hand when the muse strikes.
Yeah.
So do you actively like sit down and do this because you feel like you should be doing it sometimes, or is does the creative effort just kind of like, does it trample you over and say, oh, we need to do this right now, or is it a little bit of both?
That's what it is. It
always
tramples me over. Yeah. Almost always, unless I'm just like, okay, I don't have anything to do. Let me do this with my time. But a lot of the time it'll be like, oh, I have something to do later, but I have like an hour here, and then I'll be like 2 hours deep, already like missed whatever.
Oh no, I was supposed to go do this thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was busy.
I'm a night owl too, so like I've always gotten into whatever I'm creating late at night is when I always get stuck.
Like when you should be going to bed.
When I should be going to bed. Yes. Yeah, and it's a problem that I've been trying to...
That doesn't really treat you too well when you have to get up early and deal with the kiddos, does it?
Oh, no. Yeah, I have to be there at 7 a.m. out in Turkey Creek, so... Yeah.
So that's a drive across town, and it's early.
Yeah.
Well, at least that's before most of the traffic heading west.
Yeah.
So that's not all bad.
Yeah, I don't hit any traffic. I just speed there, and I'm there.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I have that problem as well. I like to do things way too late. I have a rule for myself not to start any 3D prints after 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. I'm not disciplined with a bedtime.
I can't say I am either, but this rule exists, and it's often broken.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we got home. Mariah and I got home at like 7 o'clock, 7:30 or something yesterday, and I sat on the computer for like 2.5 hours. So let me just do this thing real quick. And then I figured out that I couldn't even print it because some pieces were too small, and I was just like,
I was
mad at myself.
Playing bass guitar last night, and I don't play bass guitar, and I was up till like 11, 12.
just playing bass?
It.
Right, well, it was worth it, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I had fun.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
So you made some noise, and it was pleasant.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It was pleasant for me.
Yeah. Well, that's the context we're talking about.
Okay.
Like, pleasant for you.
Yeah.
So you don't have any massive bass influences, do you? No. You're just a go with the flow bass player.
I guess so. I mean, I've never. Well, I took guitar and like bass lessons when I was in elementary school, but it was with like somebody in the church who like we only played like hymns.
And we play these 3 chords, and they're all for the Lord.
Yes, exactly. So, that's my only influence for bass.
Jesus.
Jesus.
I would think if Jesus played an instrument, it would probably be bass.
I think so too.
Jesus would play bass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jesus would definitely play bass.
Yeah.
I have a lot of bass player friends that would agree with me.
Yeah.
I think they would at least. But that's what matters. I think so. So are there any materials or ideas you want to work on in your collage work? Do you have anything, or in any medium that you do, do you have any specific ideas to funnel into them by chance?
Like long-term goals or?
Yeah, long-term or something you've got in the back of your mind right now that you're toying with. Either one.
Well, I don't really plan what I'm doing ever. I kind of just go with the flow. So, no, I would say no. I don't really have any ideas that I'm like working towards as far as like an end goal. Um, but yeah, yeah, I just want to create bigger works.
So that's the idea right
Yeah,
now.
and explore different mediums too.
Like what? What do you want to play with next?
I've always been interested in sculpture, and that's not anything that I've ever done before. Like I've made like a small clay sculpture like once or twice, but I think it'd be really fun to play with like larger scale, just like compositing different found objects.
Onto a sculpture or something? You know,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
mix and mash all that together.
I
That would be
think that
really
would be
neat.
really fun to play with. Yeah, yeah. I have a friend who that I just met recently who like makes rusted objects and rusted sculptures. That's really fun. So he like finds objects and rusts them.
Oh, oxidation makes some crazy good
Yeah,
textures.
it's crazy.
Colors too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He does some really fun stuff there. I just kind of want to explore different processes too. Yeah, I've done some pottery. I think that'd be fun to play with again, too, like ceramics. Yeah, yeah, and then
There are some good resources around town for
Mm-hmm.
playing with pottery and ceramics.
yeah, I took a class at Mighty Mud.
Yep.
Yeah, once it was like a gifted class, but I enjoyed it.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
They do wood fired stuff there, I think.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. I think they probably also have kilns, but the fellow I had on the podcast recently did some wood fired
Cool.
ceramic stuff that he had made
That's
there
fun.
with them.
Yeah.
So he said that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's neat to me.
Yeah.
I wood firing anything sounds like fun
Mm-hmm.
because you get to build a fire.
Yeah. It's a real wood fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does 3D printed ceramic stuff, so he uses
Okay,
a
cool.
robot to make the pottery, and it's
3D printed ceramics?
yeah.
How does that?
It's just extruded through a nozzle, and then it goes around and makes the thing. It's an oversimplified version of that, but
Yeah.
he makes some really crazy stuff. I'll show you when we're done talking. But
Yeah.
it's really neat, and I think like my desire for other mediums and 3D printing stuff just come all together, and I find that just totally fascinating.
Yeah.
So I had to talk to him.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'll have to listen to that episode too.
Garrett Derland is his
Cool.
name, just so you know.
I'll check it out.
So the big stuff? You want to do big stuff?
I want to do big stuff. I want to do, larger scale.
Are you waiting for the new place to really start that, or do you have
Yeah.
you really want to do it?
I know I really want to do it, but I don't have the space for it. I did, at the last place I lived at, I had a backyard, and over quarantine, I did build a big canvas. I did stretch it myself.
Nice.
And I was playing around with spray paint, which I had never done before, which was really fun.
Yeah, I like aerosols.
But that's the biggest. I don't remember what the scale was. It was large, though. Yeah, I don't remember the dimensions of it, but it was really fun. And spray paint was really fun because it's like a very fluid motion. And yeah, I'd like to do more of that. I did spray paint and I mixed oil pastels along with it. But I really like oil pastels on like linen and canvas, so I think I'd want to use more oil pastels on a larger scale.
So you stretch canvases and stretch linens, really big ones,
Yeah,
with
really
more
big
oil
ones.
pastels and stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think it'd be fun.
So are there any specific brands of things you like to use in your collages or with your pastels, like adhesives? I know those are really important.
I just use Mod Podge, like
That stuff works
classic,
great.
You know, Mod Podge and water, paper mache, classic. Yeah. As far as like what I'm collaging things on, I just did. I'm working on like a collaborative piece right now with a group of friends. It's like a window pane. It's like a 6-paneled window pane that we've collaged the front side of. We're gonna do the back side as well.
Oh, nice.
So Yeah. But that was like a thrifted find. The window pane was, and then the lampshade I'm working on is just a lampshade that I had sitting in the back seat of my car for like 2 months, and I was like, hey, I can glue stuff to this, and maybe it'll look cool when the light shines behind it.
So what have you stuck on the lampshade? Are you at liberty to tell?
I can show it to you after we're
Okay,
done.
that
Yeah,
works.
I mean, it's like, a bunch of small clippings from like children's books and like Boy Scout manuals that I
Boy Scout manual.
Yeah, that are really fun.
Those probably need cut up.
Yeah, they have some really crazy images. There's like one that I found from like the 70s. It's like all about computers,
Well, okay.
and it's
That's
pretty
crazy.
wacky. Yeah.
I want to know what that looks like now.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. And then there's like one that I found about reptiles, and they just have really good images in them, and that's what I'm looking for. So, yeah.
So what other children's book things have you put on the lampshade?
There's just like some classic, like just flowers and things like that. I'm trying to remember all the details. There's like, just like random appliances, like a refrigerator or like a stove on it, I think. Some children's, like, I found some children's coloring books, which those are like coveted items for me. Like,
Is that Holy Grail stuff?
Holy Grail stuff. If I can find a used children's coloring book that like a child has already colored in, I think that's really fun.
And is it the older the better?
The older the better.
Awesome.
There's something too about the crayons like they use. They would like on some of the papers that I've found, it'll like bleed through the back, which is like crazy. don't know how that works.
I guess the wax and the pigment would
Yeah, I
kind of separate a little.
I guess so. Yeah, but it's like very pigmented, and yeah, it's fun to see their scribbles and yeah.
And no, it's from like 70 years ago. That's
Yeah.
great. Like, where is this person now?
And
Does
they're-
that sort of thing ever cross your mind?
Yeah, and it'll like have their name on it, like the front of it, or like inside the cover, and yeah, and it's like children's workbooks, like elementary school, like can you spell boy, and you like follow the line, and they're like a child has like done it already. Yeah.
So how often do you find those things like that? I bet that's
I
kind of
got
hard to
lucky.
find.
I got lucky. I found a couple. Yeah, at Bargain Hunters, I think, and then is where I found them. I think those the only place that I found them so far. Yeah, I found a Looney Tunes one somewhere,
Oh man,
which is like a holy grail item for me personally, but I don't think I'll use it in any. I might just bring it and keep it at the school that I work at. But
it stays in a glass box. Like
yeah, it's yeah.
that's
Love
great.
Looney Tunes.
How old do you say that coloring book is?
It's probably from like the 80s or something.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not super old. Yeah.
But still awesome, nonetheless.
Yeah, it's still
That's
cool.
great.
It's like thick. I might just color in it for
Oh
fun
man,
sometimes.
I wouldn't blame you if you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious to see just Bugs Bunny on the side of a lamp. Though.
I mean, I might do that. Yeah. I might take some cuttings from it.
you can't rule that out, right? It may happen.
Yeah, it might happen. Bugs Bunny. Yeah. Porky Pig.
Yeah, that's great.
All those guys.
So, are you going to try and show your art anywhere around town, or you just display it on the internet and that's it, or?
I had a show in 2019, and that's the only show that I've ever had in Knoxville.
That was my last show as well, because after that, things got weird.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It started getting weird. It was right after I'd graduated, and it was like a show that was affiliated with UT, and I like kind of cheated the system to get it.
Ooh, look at you.
Yeah, because I like applied for it when I was still in school, but then by the time I had the show, I was like not in school anymore. But I was like, this is my last opportunity to have a show, so I did it. There's, do you know of Pigeon Parade?
Yes,
Yeah.
I found them through you recently.
Yeah.
Are you doing something for the Tickle show?
Yeah, I'll be showing some stuff in the Tickle show. Just one piece because it's limited. But yeah, so yeah, I'll have a piece there. I want to have more shows in the future. Just more collective stuff with other artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope that a lot of people feel the same around here and would give more avenues to people trying to show their art. We're lucky enough to have a lot of breweries around here,
Yeah.
but there could be more.
Yeah,
And
there
I'll
could
tell
be
people there
more.
could be more because there could be more.
Yeah. Gotta find the space for it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of businesses have empty wall space. And even if
Yeah.
it's just one piece,
And they
it's
can
still
cover
one
it-
piece.
Cover it in art.
Right. They should.
Yeah.
Hear us, local Knoxville businesses. You have empty wall space that we could make
Just
pretty.
Yell out the window.
I'm pretty sure I've yelled at people
Yeah.
before, like,
Yeah.
you know, hang crazy art. You know?
I'm sure you could just go around to local businesses too and just ask. They'd probably be open to it. But
Yeah, maybe.
yeah, I want there to be more local venues as far as like this is only for art. Like I feel like there's a lot of gallery spaces, but there's like it's limited.
They're
like, who can
curated
show. It's
and they're
curated,
yeah.
overly curated. There needs to be more like I don't know, community based
Yeah, I agree.
spaces.
There,
Yeah.
I feel as if there's a serious lack. There's some really nice high end art spaces in Knoxville, like the Emporium Gallery and the Art Market Gallery on Gay Street. Like those are the like higher end places around town.
Yeah.
And there might be a couple of things out west that I'm not aware of because it's out west and I don't go that far all the time.
Yeah.
But you know, there's not a lot of places where you can go see, you know, wild or crazy stuff from people around town or regional stuff, you know, like they're just not. And it's kind of sad because there is definitely a vacuum to fill with that kind of local expression, you know, like you don't have to, you know, make your living selling art to make art and then have it on display somewhere. Like
Yeah.
my day job is not, you know, my creative outputs, you know, in my free time. So I would like to have that available to be seen in more places.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
Yeah.
There's a distinct lack of that.
Yeah, there's a possibility of like me working on a project and trying to open up a space kind of like that. Maybe in the next year or so.
So you're gonna stay pretty quiet about
I'm
that
gonna
right
stay
now.
pretty quiet because I don't want to commit to it yet.
Oh, okay.
But it's in the works.
It's-
in the works.
so
There's a lighting
that's a
situation
thing.
we have to figure
Okay.
out, and yeah, a couple different things. We have to
Okay, well, I'll
I have
bug you about
access
that later.
to a space that, yes, I will keep you updated.
that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
So that is kind of the moonshot thing right now that you
Yeah,
may or may not
kinda.
be in on.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Kind of like a cohesive space for artists of any kind, not just visual artists. Like, because I am like involved in a lot of music, local music, and poetry. I have a lot of friends that do poetry as well. So I think having a space that's kind of like, you know,
Yeah,
close
open to all
home,
those things.
and open to all those things where people can present and feel comfortable and accepted. around
That's great.
Friends, yeah.
I would like to see more slam poetry around town. Like Knoxville has a pretty good comedy scene,
Yeah,
but there's only a few places that have live poetry nights. you know.
Yeah.
That would be really neat too.
Oh, you should come to the Tickle.
I would like to. What is it? Plug that real quick. Do you
I
know?
think it's on the 23rd of this month at Central Collective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we do, or where the live drawing happens
Yeah,
as well.
and
Knox Draw.
it's an open call art show, so you can bring something to show in the show if you feel
if you have
inclined.
something.
If you,
because
yeah.
it has to be themed, right? It's to the term tickle.
Yeah,
That's
to
the theme.
Term Tickle, yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the poets will be reading up on the balcony, and it's all the published poets from
That issue of the.
Pigeon Parade.
Is that a zine or is that a magazine?
It's a
What classification of textbook is
I
this?
don't know. I think it's a zine, technically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's
It's kind of brief. It's not huge, right?
it's not huge. Yeah. But
Are you affiliated with it in any way, or are you just involved with this particular show?
I'm just involved with this particular
Okay.
show. One of my friends is helping organize it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to reach out to them and see what's up.
Yeah, Madeline Dillard. I'll send you her.
Okay, please do.
Yeah.
You can send kind words her direction about the podcast.
I will.
So, one of my favorite questions to ask people is, who would you like to listen to on the podcast, or who is somebody you would like to suggest be on? Because if I don't ask that question, I don't discover new people, and my guest list runs really short.
Yeah.
But it's also really nice to discover new people. So are there anybody that fit that description you would like to see or hear in this format?
There is someone that, there's the guy that I was just talking about that makes the rust sculptures.
Yeah.
I feel like, that'd probably be a great person to have on. I only met him briefly, or not briefly. I've only met him once. He invited us into his home, him and his wife, me and my partner. He invited us in. He's got a lot going on. He's an older gentleman. They're probably in their 60s, but they've done a lot of traveling. They owned a stamp company in Chicago.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they make stamps, rubber stamps. And, he has, kind of his own gallery space in his backyard, where he just,
Well, he can just throw those things out in the yard, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's perfect.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's so great.
Yeah, he has, this collection of what he calls monsters that are, like sticks and things that he finds that have, faces on that. He's just, a kooky, interesting guy who has, a lot to say. And he's very intelligent, and I think, if you're interested, I can give you.
Well, if he's up for it, I'll put a microphone in his face.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. He's.
I can
older.
certainly ask.
Yeah, he's fun though. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for giving me those recommendations, and thanks for sitting here and having this conversation with me. And
thank you for having me on.
Being on the KAAMP, that's the Knox Area Artist Networking Platform. And I don't know if I say this a lot on the show, but the reason I do this thing is helping maybe somebody that listens to this find their next new favorite local artist. Maybe. That's kind of why. Because during COVID, I was like, dang, nobody's out there hitting the streets showing their art. Maybe people that listen to podcasts would listen to another podcast and maybe discover another cool artist that they like that's maybe right around somewhere close. But yeah, that's why, and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
That was the show. I hope you enjoyed. All the relevant social media and website links will be in the episode description for the featured artist today. And if you yourself or know an artist that you would like to be or see on the platform, shoot me an email. It'll be listed somewhere on here. I'll try to make it plainly evident for you. But thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time.